Hi, this is Kathy at inkingpaperwithkat.com. Today's box, that I call the Pootles Box, was made especially to hold one mini Ghirardelli chocolate square. Just fits perfectly. This box I first saw on pootles.co.uk and I loved it immediately. It is an easy box to make. It folds flat. It takes no adhesive, and you can make them quickly. So let's get started. You will need a piece of cardstock. This is Bermuda Bay cardstock, 3 3/4 by 6 1/4. You'll need 2 pieces of DSP, 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. This is Havakappa, also from Stampin' Up. You need a scrap of Bermuda Bay cardstock and a scrap of Whisper White for your stamping. Let's do our scoring. Get your scoreboard out. Put your paper in so that the long side is at the top. And we are going to score at 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 4, 4 1/2. Turn it short side, score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 3/4, 3 1/4. That's all your scoring done. Next, we need to fold and burnish these score lines. For those of you that watch my videos, you know that normally I cut before I fold and burnish. This one, I really need to see all of those score lines really clearly because we are going to remove quite a few sections of this box. And I want those cuts to be nice and straight. Okay, let's look at our pattern. You can see that there is a lot to be removed. We need to remove these 2 rectangles, these 2, and the same on the other side, and we need to cut down the flaps. So the first thing we're going to do is cut up these vertical lines to the second horizontal score line. We need to do that. On both sides. Okay, now we need to remove this section, this one, and this one. You can fold back those flaps. It makes it a little easier to get in there and do your cutting. The other thing we need to remove is the first square on each of the tabs. And we also want to take a little wedge on each tab. Do the same thing on this side. Taking the wedges actually helps the box to close better so that you get a nice square box. Okay, that is all of our cutting done. Now what we want to do is round the corners on these tabs. So use your corner rounder. Now you may find when you go to close your box that you have a little bit of trouble sliding it in. In that case, what you're going to do is just come in and take a small, very tiny little sliver off the sides of those tabs. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, even though I don't know if I need to. Alright, let's put our DSP on. This is the top, this is the bottom, or reverse, depending on how you decide to close your box. But that is where you want your DSP. We can apply this with snail. You can do it with Tombow or Fast Fuse or Sticky Strip, whatever you'd like. You do need to think about how your box is going to close. If it's going to close this way and you want that to be the top, then your pattern, if you're using a pattern DSP, needs to be placed going in the right direction. We also want to put, excuse me, a little finger hole to make the opening easier. You don't have to do it on both sides if you don't want to. This particular box, I just like to do that. And now we can close up our box. So it just folds over like that. Tuck in your tabs. And close it. Might as well. There we go. We should just go ahead and stick in a little candy while we're at it. So drop your little treat inside. And close it up. And that's your Pootles box. Let's do some decorating. We are going to use the Petite Petals stamp set today. And we are using the Teeny Tiny Wishes. We also need our Petite Petals punch and our window punch. We're using Bermuda Bay ink. Now when you use the Petite Petals stamp, you do need to think about the fact that you want to line that punch up. And I found that if you look at this, there is one side that is straight. So I make that parallel with the edge of my paper. And let's go ahead and stamp our greeting while we're at it. Stamped it upside down, but since we're going to punch it out, it really doesn't matter. Let's take our Petite Petal punch, line it up, and punch. Take our window punch, we're going to line that up, and I do want to push it towards the edge, because I'm going to go back in and do a second punch. I actually want this a little bit shorter than what this punch is. So I just slide it back in, line it up, and punch. I also want to use this piece of Bermuda Bay to punch another flower so that I can use that up to build up some dimension. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of foam, put that on, use the end of my paper piercer. I think that was off camera. Let's get this right. Push down in the middle and you get some dimension. Mini glue dot on the back of your flower. Line it up. And there is your flower. I want to add a little bit of bling, so we're going to use some rhinestones. Right in the center. Glue dot on the back. Now I want my finger punches on the back of this, so I'm going to put my flower on this side. Going to use a little strip of dimensionals on the back of my greeting. And there you have it, a Pootles Box, a nice little gift just to say thank you, you're doing a great job, I appreciate you, or any other message you're trying to deliver. I hope you enjoyed the project and come back and visit soon.